is going really good. Have you ever heard the saying that God is slow but he's sure? The truth is, God is never slow. God is always on time, perfectly on time. He doesn't always show up when we think he should, but we guarantee that when he gets there, it will be perfect timing. That was Martha's mentality when they sent to call Jesus that their friend, their brother Lazarus, Jesus' friend, was sick. And then when Jesus got there, he deliberately, because God had a plan that he wanted to work out for Martha and Mary and the larger community. And so he deliberately stayed longer than they hoped he would. And so when he got there, eventually Martha said, Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother would not have died. In other words, if you just showed up maybe a few days ago, if you came last week, if you came 5 days ago, you would have gotten here before my brother died. But Jesus said, I'm glad I wasn't there. Why? Because God's got something bigger that he wants to work out in your life and in your family's life. So I'm glad I wasn't there because I want the glory of God to be manifest. In other words, the bigger picture, bigger than the death of Lazarus. How about me raising him back to life 4 days after no one even thought the soul of a man could abide in him? And so, my friends, the question is, if you are thinking in the same Martha mentality, then you're saying, God, if you had showed up last week, if you were here earlier this morning, if you were here yesterday, oh God, if you had just come through for me before now, I'm at my breaking point. The truth is, my friends, God is not slow because he can't be hindered. He can't be prevented. When he gets there, he will always be on time. Sometimes because of the limitations of our understanding and our inability to know the future and to see beyond where we are right now, we get frustrated and impatient and lose our faith and our confidence, and we are broken down emotionally, mentally, and psychologically because we think, oh, if God did just come out for me this morning, everything would have been fine. He is gonna get there, and he's going to get there on time. The same Martha mentality resonates in our minds today when we struggle longer than we thought, when things hang in longer than we hoped they would. And we say, oh, well, maybe God has forgotten. He has not forgotten. When he gets there, your testimony is going to be a greater one. I like that thought. When he gets there, when he pulls you through, when he comes through for you, when he gives you your victory, when he turns things around for you, you're going to have a much bigger testimony than if you had come last week or last year, because now you have exhausted everything. You remember when the woman turned to Jesus? The woman with the issue of blood, she turned to him after she had exhausted everything, when there was nowhere else to turn. That's when God's glory comes through our lives. When we have exhausted everything, when we reach our cul-de-sac, our dead ends, and think, yes, I have nowhere to go, no further to go. I am at my breaking point. That's when he comes through for you, and that's when your testimony gets great. The narrowness of our minds is like Martha. If thou hadst been here, my brother had not died. What are you saying to the Lord today? That God, if you had showed up yesterday, and God, if you had come earlier this morning, my friends, let's get that understanding that he's never slow and he's there on time, just when he knows you can't go any further. Just when, not when you think you're at your breaking point, not when others say you're at your breaking point, not when you think you can't go any further, but when he knows out of his perfect wisdom and knowledge that my son, my daughter, my child can't handle anymore, can't hold it any longer. That's when he comes through for you, and that's when you have a great testimony. So what are you crying and sighing and dying over today? What is your biggest struggle? What is your major concern? What are you saying, God, if you don't come through for me now or by this time, everything would crumble? Hang in there. When the children of Israel were at the Red Sea, and they thought that God had brought them from Egypt so that they would die in the wilderness. And they were questioning, isn't there no place in Egypt that we could have been buried? Why God brought us here to have us drowned at the Red Sea or slaughtered in the desert by our enemies? God said to Moses, tell them, here is my word. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. For the Egyptians that you see today, the things you are afraid of, the things that are your major concern, what cause you most sleepless nights, the things you worry the most about, that you have no control over, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Because the message to them was, the Egyptians you see today, you will see them again no more tomorrow. My friends, God is not slow. God is on time. He's going to come through for you. And just when you think you are at your cul-de-sac, when everything seems dark and you have nowhere to turn, I promise you, God is going to come through for you. Hold that confidence. Trust him. He's not asleep. His ears not heavy. His eyes are on you as his eyes are on the sparrows. And he knows just how much you can bear, even though you have said it to him times and again. God, I can't bear no more. Lord, this is too much for me. He knows what you can bear. And he's going to come through for you before you are broken. That's a promise. That's a promise. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. He is going to come through for you because he is always on time. Not on your timing, but on his perfect timing. Watch it. You'll prove it. Share it with your friends and your family and remind them, although they feel they have gotten to their breaking points, God is going to come through for them. This is my thought for you today. Receive it and be blessed. Stay strong.